Question 19 is pretty tough. It's a weakening question, and it's using our phenomenon hypothesis framework to build this argument out. So it's hard because there's actually sort of already an alternative hypothesis that's rejected, right? So we don't need to worry about that. But some of the answers sort of like, oh, we do need to worry about it. No, we don't. We already rejected that one. And besides, the hypothesis we're not rejecting, that's one we're trying to weaken anyway. So here we have a carved flint object depicting a stylized human head with an open mouth, was found in a Stone Age tomb in Ireland. So we found a Stone Age artifact, right? So now the question is, this artifact, like what is it? Well, some archaeologists believe that the object was a weapon, right? The head of a mace, right? Like, oh, you just put a staff on below it, right? Now this is the head of a mace, right? But then our author's like, well, actually, see, it's too small for that purpose. See, immediately we reject this, right? We spot this phenomenon. Hey, we discover this thing here. What in the world is this thing? Right? We're trying to give a hypothesis, tell a story about this phenomenon to explain it. Some archaeologists come in like, oh, I got a story. It's the head of a warrior's mace, right? But then they're like, no, it's too small for that. Come on, that's a stupid story, right? Okay, so let's carry on then. What is the story? Well, because of its size, the fact that it's small, right, and the fact that its open mouth symbolizes speaking, the open mouth here symbolizes speaking. Now we say, look, probably the head of a speaking staff. Okay, so you do put it on top of a stick, but with this staff, you don't go to war with it, right? Really, you just pass the staff around as a communal object when you are in a small assembly in order to indicate who's got the right to speak, right? So if you're holding the staff, you get to talk, right? So that's the alternative hypothesis here instead of the warrior's mace hypothesis. But our job is to weaken this hypothesis, right? To say, no, actually, it's not, right? Or at least you don't have to definitively say it's not. You just have to, introduce another fact, another aspect of the phenomenon, or maybe a competing hypothesis, right, to make it less likely that this is the correct explanation, right? Okay, so A says, the tomb in which the objects found did not contain any other objects that might have been weapons, okay? So there were no axes, right? So what does that mean? Do you see how A is still, A is engaging with this warrior's mace hypothesis, right? Like, it didn't contain, so what does that even tell me? Is this not a mace then? Like, we're not even talking about that anymore, right? We're trying to say this is a speaking staff, right? You're saying, oh, there were no axes, there were no swords, right? No clubs in the tomb. I have no idea what the communal objects were normally passed from one generation to the next in Stone Age, Ireland. See, now if this were true or fact, that communal objects generally were passed from one generation next, then this weakens our hypothesis, because where was this found? In a tomb. For communal objects which are passed from one generation to next, why would you find that in a tomb? Right? When you bury something in a tomb, you are not passing it from one generation to the next. You're doing the opposite. You're burying it with a dead person. Right? So if this fact were true and this thing here came from a tomb, then it seems not as likely anymore. I mean, I don't know. It could still really be a communal staff, right? It could be that, right, this is the exception. Right. But still, you get the point, right? It's a weakening question. You just got to make answer choice B plus the stuff that we already, right? This premise that used to support this conclusion, now it supports it way less, right? That's the hallmark of a weakening question. C says the object was carved with an artistry that was rare. Okay, so what, right? Like, oh, this is really finely carved. It was really a great job. Does that mean it can't be a communal staff? Does that mean it can't be a warrior's mace? Does that mean, whatever, right? The tomb in which the object is found is a politically prominent person, okay? Like, what does that mean? I guess, to me, this, I don't know, it's highly irrelevant, but I guess I could try to make it strengthening. Politically prominent person, spoke a lot at small assemblies. He carried around a staff, so when he died, they put him, right? Like, we're trying to weaken the argument here. E says, a speaking staff with a stone head is thought to symbolize a warrior's mace. So E is a pretty tricky answer choice, right? Who cares what it symbolizes? This is saying this object, in fact, is a speaking staff with a stone head, right? In fact, it's a speaking staff. It's got a stone head on it, and it symbolizes a warrior's mace. Who cares what it symbolizes? Is it a speaking staff? It is a speaking staff. Okay, then, right? Like, okay, so you see how, like, it's trying to make you think, oh, this is actually a warrior's mace. No, it's not actually a warrior's mace. They said it's actually a speaking staff with a stone head. It's not to symbolize a warrior's mace, right? Just like how it could symbolize, fertility or symbolize violence. But it's not fertility, it's not violence. It's still a speaking staff with a stone head. And on top of that, right, so you see how it does nothing, right? On top of that, we don't actually know if a speaking staff with a stone head, if that's this one, right? If that's this one. Because all we found is a stone object that's a stylized version of human head. We don't even know if this is the stone head of a speaking staff. So E is even less relevant.